All right, it's the Morning Hustle, Head Crack, and L'Oreal. Now, I know you've been seeing it on the internet, man, a big, back and forth that went down between Deion Sanders, prime time as they call him in these streets, and Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., head coach of the Alabama State University Hornets football team. Now, Coach, following this game, is this the top rivalry game in the SWAC right now?
Well, I think to me, Jackson State has always been Jackson State. I played in the conference and played against them, and they've always had great teams. A number of guys that are in the NFL Hall of Fame. And so it's a game that you get up for. But it was, our homecoming. I think it kind of started with Deion, Coach Sanders, Prime. He was making a big deal about us inviting them for homecoming. Like, we were treating them like a homecoming team, which was just a matter of, it was where the space fell on the calendar. It was the first week of October, and so we happened to play Jackson State. So I think, that was one of those things that kind of built up throughout the whole week.
Coach, L'Oreal here. Your frustrations after the game, was it because you lost the homecoming game? Was it because Jackson State was trying to run up the score? What was the real issue?
Losing is a part of sports, is a part of football, is a part of life. Sometimes you're going to lose. So I don't think it was so much about being upset that we lost. I mean, you learn how to deal with losing. I've lost way too many games. Probably lost just as many as I won if I added them up. But I think that's where it kind of started, and it just kind of went from there. But I don't know. It seems like one of those things that with social media, it's like a very big deal. But I think from the standpoint of him and I don't think it's something that's going to be a distraction. Right now we're focusing on beating the next opponent, which is Mississippi Valley.
All right, now we're talking with Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., head coach of the Alabama State Hornets. Now, Coach, during the post-game press conference, you said Coach Prime ain't SWAC. Now, for those who don't understand what that is, what did you mean?
Well, I think for me, I kind of focus more on, what the SWAC mean to me. So, having played in the conference and walk on here at Alabama State, to me, is just one of those things that, to play in the SWAC is a privilege. It's something, even when I played in the NFL, playing with Steve McNair, we would, hey, what's up, SWAC? Hey, how's it going, SWAC? It was something that we would call each other kind of like a nickname because of the pride that we had of playing in the conference. And so we had other guys in the NFL that was on teams with us, and they would, hey, man, what's up? Nah, you're not SWAC. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of one of those things you would say is that, if you didn't play in the SWAC, you wasn't bred on HBCU football, then you're not SWAC. So that type of things. I played against guys like Michael Strahan, guys like Aeneas Williams, and those guys were not just all conference, all SWAC, but they were also NFL Hall of Famers. So I think it's just the history of the conference that I have a lot of pride in. I think a lot of others do also.
Okay, so do some of those bad feelings that we saw leading up to the end after the game come from the last game when the Hornets beat the Tigers and you guys put a picture of Coach Prime on the scoreboard after the game?
This is my first year coaching here, so I wasn't the head coach, and so that was kind of something that was prior. So I think, from that standpoint, I think it definitely was a rivalry of Jackson State and Alabama State with Coach Prime, with the previous coach, and et cetera, et cetera. So, it was a big thing. I mean, we were able to beat them that spring, and I say we because, I went to Alabama State, and, of course, I was still rooting for it. But so I think it kind of went back to that. So that was kind of before me. So I think the rivalry was there before I got here, so it's just kind of something that continued.
All right, now, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, but before you leave, can you tell us, why don't you take the hug, bro?
So it had nothing to do with the wins or losses. I mean, I lost to Prairie View. I say we should I say, but we lost to Prairie View, and Coach Bubba McDowell was a guy that played with me in the NFL. I gave him a hug, you know what I'm saying? So, but it just, I felt like all of the things that led up to it, and beforehand, I just thought it was a whole lot to then say, hey, man, let's embrace that at midfield. I mean, out of respect for the game, you're always going to have a handshake. So I think that's something that's at a minimum. So, and so I definitely with the handshake, but I just didn't think the hug was appropriate at that time. So maybe we see each other next time, it'll be a hug. But I think at that moment, I just didn't feel like the hug was appropriate. Nothing more, nothing less. So wasn't trying to be anything more or less than that. So
all right, Coach, thanks for clearing it all up for us, and thank you so much for your time and energy. Good luck against Mississippi Valley State University, and you always welcome here in the Morning Hustle, so feel free to pull up, bro.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time.